Welcome to the Genetic Code. I'm your host, Jeanette Collins. This podcast is designed to take you one episode at a time on an intimate journey of your own personal transformation. Each podcast will have tools and techniques for you to practice in your daily life to create the very best version of you. Let's get started. Patterns. The definition of a pattern is something that repeats in a predictable way. We've talked a lot about repeating behaviors. Emotions are patterns. All emotion is energy in motion. So let's break this information down so that you can have a greater understanding of how you are operating on a daily basis in different patterns, and how those patterns can be identified and changed. So if the emotions that you feel throughout the day could be seen by the naked eye, it would have a pattern to it. In other words, you could see the emotion and its predictable effects everywhere and in everything. Here's an example of a pattern. All plants have a pattern written inside the seed. So as you plant the seed, the pattern unfolds. Plant an apple seed and you can predict the whole process. You can plant it in the dirt, water it gets sunshine, and in a little time it will sprout green sprigs above the ground. Continue to tend it and care for it, and in time it will get big enough to grow the blossoms that will grow into fruit on the tree, expressly an apple, because you planted an apple seed. I know that's very logical, but it serves an important point that we'll discuss in a minute. If you've planted a lemon tree and it produced lemons, it would be futile for you to hope it would give you oranges. You didn't plant that seed. So the pattern of the apple seed, lemon seed, and so forth holds the complete pattern to create those specific foods. You can see this everywhere. So let's look at the emotional patterns. Every human being has at their core the seed of infinite potential. We have a brain that is always learning and looking for patterns to follow and live by. The brain is a complex organ that works precisely. One of its most important characteristics is its ability to learn. The brain is a brilliant organ that automatically regulates certain functions for our bodies: breathing, touch, motor skills, vision, temperature, hunger, and every process that regulates the body. So how do our emotions affect our brains and how the brain functions? I'll do my best to give you my greatest understanding and knowledge of this point. If emotions are patterns, and patterns are predictable, and our bodies respond to certain patterns repeated over and over again, then what is the relevancy of understanding the patterns? We learn from patterns, and when we like a pattern and the effects we receive from the pattern, we keep it, because we have learned that when we use certain patterns, we get a very predictable result to a certain extent. For example, frustration has a pattern. It starts with thought and feels confused or unsure, followed by attempts to find the correct answers or to get others to find the right answers to solve the confused problems that we're thinking about. And the pattern charges up the energies in the body to match the emotion of frustration. And we get more confused, which becomes deeper frustration, which seeks for an outside source to solve it, which creates anger and results back into greater levels of frustration. Does that sound familiar? When you change your emotion to become calm, take a breath, break, and recalibrate, step away from what is frustrating you, and if the frustration seems to be you, close your eyes and breathe, focusing on the pattern of a calm, slow breath. This, making a conscious choice to change out of the pattern of frustration, is you activating that unlimited seed that is at the core of all of us, the seed to choose. The frustration never will create peace and harmony. The anger will never create love. These are patterns of energy that we have the privilege to experience and the profound power to change or step out of. You don't change the frustration, you become aware that you are engaging in this very predictable energy pattern. And by your past experience, you already have a good idea of the outcome. So the amazing beings that we are, we draw upon that wisdom, and you, on purpose, with intention, choose to stop following mindlessly this emotion, because you can predict the outcome of how you will feel if you don't. You change gears by taking a break, breathing, closing your eyes, or just focusing for a minute on nature. This step is you putting on the brakes before you collide with frustration's destined results. Here is where it gets good. Now that you have put on the brakes, so to speak, and you're in neutral position, you have great power here. You are once again at choice to make a more loving decision on which emotion or pattern you would like to experience. If you can't readily come up with one, always seek out gratitude. Its results are always beautiful, and that you can rely on. Gratitude is very predictable in how you know you'll feel inside. It can't feel or express frustration. It doesn't have that pattern. Like the lemon tree, it can't produce an apple. Only the apple tree can, and that is predictable. So let's take a little look inside your body. As you run the emotion of frustration creates certain chemicals in the brain to match, like cortisol and adrenaline, the stress hormones. So if your body is being asked by you to start creating stress hormones because you're experiencing frustration and stress, then because your body is so intelligent, it produces those hormones, and the body begins to operate in a very frustrated way. Maybe you notice you now have a headache, or your stomach is upset. You can't focus or relax like you wanted because your thoughts are running crazy, trying to fix your frustration with frustration. See the pattern? When have you ever truly solved a problem peacefully with the emotion of frustration? So take a look at where you are. What is the emotion you experience most frequently? Do you feel loneliness and discouragement a lot? Do you feel happy and excited to be alive? Do you feel depressed and feel like there's nothing worth all this? Look at the emotions that are the most frequented by you. How familiar are you with these patterns? You can probably say you have a degree to some extent with these patterns because you've lived in them so long that you can predict the outcome pretty much all the time. That's awesome. You can't change what you're unaware of. Remember going to work or taking your kids to school? You know those roads like the back of your hand. And if you leave at a certain hour, and you could even predict almost to the exact minute that you could arrive at your destinations. Sometimes you could even predict other things, like what streets will be better than others, and where the lights are the longest, and so forth. This is just one kind of pattern. You know if you head home at 5 p.m. and take the freeway, you'll run into 5 o'clock traffic. So maybe you choose to leave at 6 or 4 p.m. to shave off some time in traffic. So this pattern is like the emotional patterns we run in our lives. We are always making choices and decisions. So each emotion we choose to practice will come with an outcome that's easy to predict. We may not be able to always predict all the consequences to an exact, but we can for sure predict how we will feel and how we will behave in certain emotions. Patterns are everywhere in our world, and we can see them in nature and in ourselves. These patterns will create something every time. You are the only one who can activate the living results of the emotional patterns you choose to live by. If you practice being angry over most events in your life, then anger will be the pattern your brain will use to try and solve your daily experiences, no matter what they are, because you've chosen it so frequently that your body begins to choose it for you in every opportune time that it can. The path you travel frequently, you can, as the expression goes, do it with your eyes closed. Your body and mind are following a pattern set up by you. There is so much beauty in this because you get to see, by experience, what emotions you live by and what you're creating in your life, whether it's positive or negative. The outer results show us the patterns within us that we are aware of and the ones we haven't yet to discover. My fellow human beings, we are on a journey to master our own patterns and create beautiful, empowered lives by consciously choosing to change ourselves, to become emotionally intelligent to the patterns we have chosen to live by, and then we can choose to elevate those emotions to a greater one and experience greater levels of joy, love, peace, harmony, and so forth. The path and patterns you have been on up to this point have been a teacher to you, to assist you into making greater choices. That will create a more elevated life for you to live in. Our thoughts are the blueprint to the emotions and patterns that we are setting ourselves up to experience. Notice your thoughts. By divine nature, we know what truly brings joy into our hearts and what doesn't. The connection you have with you is the cornerstone to the life you will build. If you don't enjoy the pattern you are living by, get quiet into your own heart and ask, guide me to the love and life that's possible for me to experience. Teach me how to love by being love. Your heart is a frequency pattern of love, the force of energy that creates everything. With every pattern, there is something to learn. Choose to learn and elevate yourself from the place you are in now. Even if it's good to find and experience more love and gratitude than ever before, seek for the greater things in everything. You know the statement, you are the universe. Well, when you search the universe, you discover more and more order and harmony, even within the chaos. As you seek more is unfolded to experience. What was once the extent of your knowing is expanded as you uncover more and more. You will expand just like the universe and reveal within yourself greater and greater potential, more than you ever thought possible. We are living in an unlimited pattern of infinite love. How deep do you dare go within you to explore and discover your own human potential? Be brave and ask yourself grand questions, like, what is my true potential? What is the full result of the divine seed that lies within me? Who can I truly become, and how can I contribute to others to improve their lives as well? You are a living, infinite pattern of beautiful energy shaped as a human being. The light within you that nourishes your cells and the entire body is the light of infinite love and knowledge. Your soul is an explorer here to explore the divine within itself and in the world around us. Be courageous. Explore new ideas within you. Follow the guidance of your heart and seek to know thyself. You have the divine infinite buried within you, waiting for you to uncover it. It's the greatest treasure hunt you have ever been on, and the signs are all around you to guide your inner search. Some guidelines are these. Number 1, your thoughts become your reality. 2, being aware of the thoughts is the beginning of true power. 3, changing your pattern to become more love and expansion is your superpower. 4, practice what you want to receive in this world, and you will receive it. 5, choose wisely. 6, what you practice, you become. 7, we are all connected. What you give to you, you give to others. 8, the power to change lives is within you. It doesn't operate itself. You must activate it by your very actions. So take this week and incorporate noticing the patterns you're running. Look at the predictable results of those patterns and choose to start putting your energy and attention on greater, more elevated emotions like joy, gratitude, or just plain relief to know that you can change the way that you have been living. Choose to invest your energy into you with more love and patience, kindness and understanding. Then be diligent and determined to create a new life for yourself by choosing a higher, more empowered pattern of energy to live in, like gratitude. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. Please share this with others and tune in next week for another chance to learn, grow, and to be a part of the greatest journey on earth, the journey to transform yourself, to empower yourself, and to extend that love to the world. You are worth it.